or such kind of framework of business, how as a professional I can add value, how as a professional I can be a mentor to someone else who is planning to start their own venture, how as a professional I need to add my knowledge experience so that others can make it with a sustainable growth. So all this domain, all these discussions we are starting since morning, and I'm sure you must have enjoyed the content, the must have linked yourself to the PPT concepts and the discussion we are sharing with each other. The second part of this session is more about and design. Here also I am basically not going in detailed technical way, because in my opinion, if you could understand the first impression, definitely it creates a curiosity in the mind of participants so that they can learn for the second stage. So in this discussion, I am again going to make a overview of how business systems and designs are important for effective business management, or effective venture management, or effective execution of what you thought in a creativity, and as an innovation, how you are going to execute to the customers and create your own space in the market simply. So when generally we consider business as a whole, because here we are designing the business, we are designing a venture, and as a professional mentor I can say, or as a professional mentor you can understand the important aspects of all these parameters or all these disciplines. Because when it comes to the business is not about a technical business, business is not about a commercial business. Business is creating a value structure which can benefit all stakeholders. Remember this. So being a promoter of your venture, you are initiating a concept in the business, in the market, and that concept is satisfying different stakeholders. Your role in this concept is to make the concept sustainable always. Therefore, we had a discussion in our earlier session so that we can understand the sustainable innovations, radical innovations, incremental innovation, market efficiency innovations, breakthrough innovations, so that we can relate the terms with the second session. So here, my friends, designing a business model canvas, probably you must have gone through this concept, because many institutions do organize Ideathon competition. Under Ideathon, we expect students to work on the particular domains which you are seeing right now in the slide. How they are going to channelize the business, how they are going to utilize the resources, how they are going to make a delivery statement, how they are going to identify the customer segments. So when it comes to us, let's say example, you are doing a business and it's you are going to define these particular parameters in an effective way so that you can efficiently run the business. So each and every activity you're supposed to understand in a well-defined way, because managing resources itself, though it's a small activity, but has a huge impact over the business. And simultaneously, each and every discipline in this model require an holistic approach of yours to see the business as a canvas, because whatever you are going to design on this canvas will be a upcoming outcome. So therefore, considering the changing dynamics of the industry, considering the constant change in which is happening in the industry, that's why when I started my first session, I state a quote over there: uncertainty and change are integral part of business domains. We have seen the example of big brands which they became a victim of one concept called as a myopia. In marketing, we can call it as a marketing myopia. These brands become the victim of myopia because they fail to understand the canvas of business. under canvas, as I mentioned the proper disciplines over here, they fail to connect. You can take the example, I'm taking the examples just like Ambassador car. Once upon a time, Ambassador was a, it's like a king of Indian road. Fiat Motors, king of Indian roads. Right now, they are nowhere else. What made them that customers disposed them? That is the problem. So once upon a time, they were the ruler. Right now, they were nowhere else. Same is applicable to a brand like Kodak camera, which once upon a time was the leader in camera and film industry, filming sector of business, because Kodak camera as well as Kodak rolls, simultaneously Kodak photo paper prints, these were the products of Kodak. Almost 85% market share was with Kodak in terms of photo paper prints. Right now, they were nowhere else. So the marketing myopia concept is very important to be understood by the professionals prior to start any activity, because I have seen business initiators, business entrepreneurs, their idea is excellent, no doubt. They are creative also. They have a vision so that it can be a radical innovations in coming days. It can be a radical disruptive innovations in coming days, or rather it can sustain the industry also. But because of the approach, because of the myopia concepts, they are nowhere else. So you as a professional supposed to understand this. The greatest example I can relate with this concept also, Nokia. Once upon a time, Nokia was the king. Again, they are struggling right now. You all knowing about all these examples. Probably you must have taken this example while teaching to the students also. But here we are understanding what went wrong with such kind of companies. Because teaching to the students, giving an example is quite easy. But understanding what actually went wrong is the role of a professional. And therefore, we are interacting with each other to understand how a business model can be designed, how the canvas we can design with expected outcomes. Every business constantly change, and you can check with yourself how many times you have updated ourselves to change. Probably in delivery of teaching, we still follow the same structure which we were following since last 3 years, 5 years, or we have updated ourselves. Forget about the virtual classrooms. I'm talking about the pedagogy and the things we are, we are compromising or we are adding to the teaching patterns. So when it comes to the business, we're supposed to be extremely alert always while designing such kind of concepts, because as I said in previous time also, business deals with money. Money may be yours or maybe someone else. Maybe your investors also there. Maybe you are supported with the funds from the venture capitalist or angel investors, or maybe bootstrapping, various ways through which we can create and generate money. Maybe you are getting funds from the government in terms of subsidies also. So how you utilize all this define your cost structure. How you plan out your revenues define your sustaining capability. 1 minute. How you plan out the value proposition. Now, the value proposition is the utmost important part which customers are going to connect. Now, you have seen the examples how companies are offering the value proposition in spite they don't have the innovative product. And that is the most important part any business should understand, or any business professional should consider as an important step. If you create a value proposition statement which can satisfy all stakeholders, you can survive, because customers are purchasing the product because they are receiving the value. Now, value may be a satisfaction, value may be a benefit, value may be a pride feeling, because many times people purchasing iPhone because of style statement, because of prestigious things they want to purchase. And in marketing or in management, when we offer certain things, we're supposed to understand the important steps of market attractiveness. In general, if I am offering the new product to the customer, only 2 to 3% of people, we can consider them as an innovator likely to purchase the product. And that I supposed to understand, even though I am going to offer certain best product, still the first response is probably 2% to 3% under category of innovators only. Because this innovator mindset customers are actually purchaser of your products, and that we're supposed to understand. No doubt, once these people try to purchase the products, it is being followed by close to 16% people. We call them as an early innovator or early adopter. So innovator and early adopter, there is a bifurcation between the number of customers whom are basically fall under different category like innovator, early adopter, late adopter, majority, and laggards. So this bifurcation we're supposed to understand so that we can effectively plan our business in a sustainable way. Therefore, the first important thing you should teach to your students that create a value proposition, simultaneously manage the relationship with all the stakeholders, channelizing energy to select a proper segment of market, because again here manufacturers or business people are failing. To whom to connect? Because understanding your segment itself is the important part for managing the business domain. So therefore, my friends, arranging all these terms, whether you are partnering terms with a supplier or a vendor, activity means your professional operational flow, managing all resources, because activities and resources are again clubbed together so that you can both are related to each other. Again, offering a value proposition, all these aspects required money. You can see the slide, the matrix. Cost is applicable everywhere, and revenue segments you are going to start once you create a value in the product, offer the same thing to the customers, maintain a proper customer segment, deliver the product to the customers in an effective way so that you can earn the revenue models. And this planning is very important in preparing any business model canvas. So value is a very important part. Recently, I take an example of different products we used to purchase unnecessarily, even though there is no need. Let's say example of Colgate toothpaste, how Colgate is having different products. Colgate with salt, Colgate with neem, Colgate with ultra gel, Colgate with blue gel, Colgate with whitening teeth, Colgate with visible teeth, and we are purchasing. So what Colgate has done? Colgate has created a value proposition statement in the product, and they are selling to the different customer segment, and they are earning revenue. They made their product available at every corner of the market, and we are getting sales propaganda they are created, and we are utilizing the different products. They are successful business model. So creating a value proposition is the utmost important part in any business. Let's say example, you are visiting which is a Domino's Pizza. Let's say example. Why you are visiting Domino's Pizza? Because you are sure that you are receiving the best taste and value once you visit to Domino's rather than any ordinary new products or new pizza provider. So that trust has been created by the business models because of they understood all these parameters, where to focus and what to offer to the customers. So being a professional, it's effectively important to all of us to understand this chalkboard board, which can define the business simply. So when you are dealing with the business specifically, why companies are generally thinking for business model innovation? Because business model innovation is nothing but they are adding value, extra value. So what are the parameters we supposed to understand that there is a need of change in the existing domain or change expected in the value delivery system? So either your market may be saturated, either may be using the outdated technology, or unnecessary changes or unexpected changes are coming to your industry. It's your inability, or maybe customers are not satisfied. So various reason as a business entrepreneur, you're supposed to understand so that you can change your business domain, change your business structure. Very simply. And that aspect, being a professional, you're supposed to understand. So to connect with all these terms, it's equally important to all of us to get the proper meaning of all these happenings. Then and then only we can relate to understand the innovation or change in business designs and system. Because let's say example, professional faculty members generally concern more about their academic performance index, API index. Right now in India, we can see there are n number of researches going on. Probably UGC is asking people to do the PhD in certain things, and everyone is running behind the PhD and all other things. But while doing PhD and any research, are we really adding value to the country? Probably no. Why? Because getting a PhD, getting a degree, and getting a best position as per your desire, most important part is there. But if you change our approach and if you connect with the research, PhD, and the industry benefits, you can be the entrepreneur. You can be the innovator. You can be the research orientator naturally. Because there are a lot many funds are available to initiate all these things under different schemes of Government of India, Government of Maharashtra, or any other state you belong. It's matter to change our perception, because in my opinion, every person can become the business innovator. Whether you are going to carry it out or whether someone else is going to carry out, brain should be yours. And that brain you can utilize by doing your own research, simply. And here in business, even though you are from technological background or commerce background or management background, doesn't matter, engineering background doesn't matter, understanding business is very important. And to understand all these things, collaborative nature is very important, in my friends. If I am lacking in somewhere else, I supposed to connect with someone else who is strong in the particular domain, and that domain can be a collaborative domain to understand, which even in new education policy also been expected that institutions should collaborate with each other so that we can excel in business domains. We can excel in startup domain. Recently, while addressing to the nation, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi also stated that startup incubation should be at large pace so that we can create our own economy. And that is only possible if our faculty members understood the basic importance of business model innovation. Therefore, a vision is very important in all professionals towards the business domain, how I can add value, how I can change. Now, this is the diagram I am showing to you in terms of disruptions. We had a discussion on disruptions in our previous lecture. Why I'm showing this again and again? Because right now, 2020 onwards, probably, economy is going to be a disruptive economy. There are radical changes are coming. I spoke with you about Industry 4.0 is knocking door right now. And we need to ask a question, are we ready to grasp all the changes which has been expected in Industry 4.0? Because considering our approach, things are going to possible. So equally, other than our profession, we're supposed to focus on industrial era, industrial sectors, industrial knowledge, so that we can create the young generations whom are becoming ready to inculcate all these important aspects in their professional domain. My friends, the disruptive economy is the economy which we are facing right now. As I said about radical innovations are happening right now, and these radical innovations are changing the business domains. Let's say example of an insurance industry. There is one insurance company in India, basically lot many insurance companies are there. But why they are failed to connect with a mass audience? Why only 10 to 12% Indian people are insured actually? And right now, close to 80 to 88% people are still they don't have an insurance policy. Why this is happening? Because the business approach of insurance industry need to be changed. I'm taking one example of King Price Insurance from South Africa. They are basically offering very low premium insurance for car. The unique model, simple unique model they adopted while offering to the insurance, I consider that company as a disruptive company because it can change the insurance industry. Insurance, no doubt, is a business approach, but simultaneously a social vision should be there which can be benefit the entire globe. So King Price Insurance, they initiated a simple concept, very simple concept. If I am taking an insurance for a car, I do depreciate the value of car over a period of time. So King Price Insurance also started unique concept of depreciating the premium also. So over depreciation of your car, your premium also gets low. Very simple. So customer can pay easily. And that is the unique concept. So such kind of concept can become disruptive concepts. And why I'm expecting all you to expect certain kind of things from your students, because we had a discussion about creativity and execution. Very simple example, as we see in the slide, manufacturing industry, financial services, you must have seen the disruptions. Professional services, healthcare services, all these are going to be disrupted economies in hence coming year. We are taking one simple example of LED bulbs. Initially, LED bulbs are not being considered, but right now, everyone is following about LED bulb because it saves cost. Because it's connected with the costing, money, and people are following it. So it's changing the entire bulb industry. They are moving to the LED sector. Same happens with, we consider as an encyclopedia. Previously, encyclopedia books used to purchase, but right now, a neglected part of disruption, we can say, it's Wikipedia. Wikipedia is also kind of disruption I'm considering, which is available source of n number of information. So simple. Think or creative innovation while doing the business domain. So business system design in general academic structure, what we taught to the students when I'm talking about the business systems and design. These are the processes we generally follow in academics or teaching, how business systems and design need to be planned out or charted out effectively. So when I'm talking about the design process, that's why I said I am not going to detail in technological way. Rather, I am going to make you aware about what we can add in terms of having the basic knowledge of business systems and design. Because you must be probably understood the concept of design thinking and certain things like that. No doubt, these are technical terms which are quite important, but basic meaning, how you can execute the things in a business, that matter most. So therefore, understanding the basic glimpses are very important. So therefore, in academics also we follow all these things, all this concept, so that we can create our young generations ready for the business systems and design. Am I right? But utmost important thing, which generally neglected in this part, is which we hardly consider problem solving approach. Here we are working for a model, working for a particular product, and generally how we can add a value through problem solving, that is the most important part, which again neglect. And the most important part which we can nurture among the students is decision making skill, because through these systems we can add a decision making add-on value to the students, so that students can be young entrepreneurs or create their creative minds. If we can follow all these guidelines, all these systems effectively, simply we can plan for the best designs of business, best models of business. Because in my opinion, best model of business is what? Which can sustain, which can maintain the customer, which can grow, even though pace of growth is slow, manageable. There is a scope of growth. There should be a scope of growth which business should follow. Simply, n number of products, n number of research we can follow if your team is creative enough. So therefore, the creative mindset is quite important for effective business planning and designs. There were days that we can say the family businesses are running over the period of time, but right now new entrants are creating a question mark to this family business runners, because creative mindsets have created the platform where every person can come out and start their own businesses. So therefore, my friends, you're supposed to understand this as the important stage, and how we can create the best design systems if you are planning for effective businesses. Simply, we do bifurcate the task while doing for the business domains. So here I consider role of business architect is quite important. Now, whom can be the business architect? Any person who understood business and the execution can be the business architect. There is no need a person should learn the architectural knowledge. It's about your vision, it's about your perception, it's about your understanding what you are planning and what you are expecting as outcome. But for the sake of management domain, for the sake of understanding domain, we can bifurcate the task in three categories, which is management support, support knowledge, and operational support. You can check in any organizations, generally we follow such kind of structure. But what is the important task, what we're supposed to expect from these three domains? Operational support, probably you are aware about what we're supposed to do in terms of managing the business. In support or knowledge work, what is expected, which is missing link between these two different scenarios, because management and operational support team required a strong collaboration of support and knowledge work. That is collaboration system, which I said generally we are missing, because attitude comes with ego, and generally I have seen many startup entrepreneurs failing under such a dilemma that I know everything, why I should discuss with any other else, because it's my baby, it's my design, it's my dream. I know where I want to go, I know what results I'm expecting, why I should discuss. And this approach has making a question mark about the existence of the company. There are exceptions, no doubt, but generally the middle line which is missing right now, we're supposed to connect with management domains and operational support. And that is what effectively system design we can plan. Because when you are playing the role of business architect, you're supposed to understand as an architect how you are going to connect to build a business, to build a building of value which you can afford. If you are planning to, let's say example, you can consider your organization where you are working. So you must be among these two categories, either in management support, either in operational support. What is missing actually, you can easily find out, because you are witnessing the problems, what you are facing. Same is applicable to the business. When you're supporting or planning for the business, you know what is the missing link, and that missing link should be, it's your role to find out. Therefore, you as a going to play a role of business architect. I consider those people who design the business, I generally call them as a business architect, because these are the brains which can add a value to the each and every steps. Because designers and the architects make the things work in a smooth way. If you can plan the effective way of all the designing part, automatically it's create extreme important step of improved employee productivity. It reduces generally the cost, time, and risk also. There are not many outcomes we can, if you can plan it very effectively, it can create best and better results. And most important thing, which many companies and many organizations are facing right now, they are wasting the brain of effective people by mismatching their profile, mismatching their roles in the institutions. People who need to be in management domain are working in the operational domain, and people who need to be in operational working with the vice versa probably. So the business architect being a you, you can work on this brain gain rather than brain drain. Remember this, because getting the best work to the best person, that is the most important part, and business architect can understand. So those who want to be the business architects or business designer supposed to understand this in an effective way, how we can plan it out, because every company who utilize the brain definitely going to use it wisely rather than a brain drain activity. So my friends, this is something which we consider as a effective use of business systems. Now, there are certain companies, those who are utilizing different approaches of creating a business and designing a business. How these companies are doing all these things, that also we are going to see. This is something, a diagram we can say as designing businesses with their approaches. So there is absolute design, we can say adaptable design, as you can read in the slide. What kind of systems you are following, what kind of concepts you are working on, what kind of environment aspects as a business domain you are witnessing, that all depend on what kind of design systems you are following, what kind of product approaches you are following, what kind of service approaches you are following to make your business. So here I am going to consider certain examples. I basically consider obsolete design is a very important step in any business, because market is constantly changing. Market is constant, a dynamics. There is a dynamics behind the market which made market to change always, because customers are changing randomly, customer psychology changing randomly, competitors are changing randomly, market environment is changing randomly. To cope up with that pace, obsolete designs are quite important things which can relate, and how certain companies are utilizing this obsolete design concept to sustain their business, to run their business, how these companies become smart enough to get the business, that also we're supposed to understand. Here, when I'm talking about obsolete concept, I want to insist more on planned obsolescence. This is the something unique way of businesses which we can carry, planned obsolescence. Now, you must have heard about planned obsolescence in your academic structure, probably. But I do consider this is a unique way of doing business, because in business, when you keep your emotions apart, you can do business. If you keep your social vision apart, you can do a business. Because while doing business, there should be a single option in your mind that you are doing a business, and you are planning the business in an effective way so that you can sustain, your company can survive in the competitive era. So why I'm consider planned obsolescence is an effective way. I'm not recommending it specifically, but I'm just sharing this information to all of you. How companies are working with this planned obsolescence, so-called companies, which we can say are the number one companies. How they are utilizing the conceptual framework of planned obsolescence, and they designing their businesses in an effective way so that customers can connect with them over the period of time. So planned obsolescence is nothing but a purposeful introduction of limited life artificially for the product or a design, so that the product becomes no longer functional or out of fashion or probably obsolete after a certain fixed period of time. So what does it mean simply? Simply, artificially, we are creating a limited lifespan of a product so that we can resell the product again and again, or it has a long-term impact on your sales department. Probably we can generate repeat business or long-term sales if you follow such kind of planned obsolescence technique. So under planned obsolescence, simply company try to minimize the lifespan by different modes, by different actions, by different fractions of the product and services, and customers try to repurchase the product again and again. Something unique, something changeable, something new concept we supposed to understand. So in management domain, many people consider that as a conspiracy theory. But in conspiracy theory, generally, as a business science, what we understood, if there is a stiff competition or there is a great competition, we should increase the lifespan of the product because it's a competition. But under planned obsolescence, it is totally different. The entire idea about this is what? To have a product that does not last forever so that customers keep coming back. Remember this. So this is unique concept observed and executed by many popular companies. Now, how these companies are utilizing this concept in business designs, and they design their business depend on the planned obsolescence. We always consider, again, I'm going to the iPhone, which is the, again, Apple product specifically. I consider telecommunication industry as a oligopoly market structure. Once we talk about the economical aspects of industry, there are types of markets you must have heard about. It's a duopoly market, it's a monopoly market, it's a monopoly market, it's a monopolistic competitive market, it's a oligopoly market, it's a perfect competitive market. So telecommunication sector, the mobile device service provider, I can consider as oligopoly market. So considering this oligopoly market structure, how Apple is utilizing this concept of planned obsolescence, and they are remain on the #1 position in terms of quality and other customer base specifically. Planned obsolescence basically is a simple concept of making product life limited life. You can check, there were disposable cameras, there were disposable throwaway digital watch, probably you must have purchased, and many people are still purchasing. They are having the specific casing which is factory fit and no access for further repair. This is the kind of way we can create a product obsolescence. So simply concept is what? If you try to prevent further repair to the product, automatically product has a limited lifespan, and exactly what companies are doing right now actually. Because if you try to repair it, the parts are quite costly or unavailable, so that it's become possible for you to repurchase it again and again. Let's say example of inkjet printer. Under inkjet printer specifically, there are print heads which eventually fails, and the cost of replacement of that head is so high that it forces the customer to throw away the product and buy new one instead, because repairing is quite costly out there. Same happens with Apple. You can check the Apple, which is used so-called temper-resistant pentalobe screws. You must have seen you can see the example image over there. Pentalobe screws which cannot be removed easily with the help of standard consumer tools available. For that, either you're supposed to visit the Apple store or you need to connect with Apple only. So they are earning money with the service domain specifically, and they are making consumer to repair at their own. Another common example, probably you must have seen, or probably you must have using the product also at your home also. It's a washing machine. I think someone has unmuted. Please mute, I request. There is a disturbance. I request. Thank you. So another example I'm taking under this category of washing machine. The front loading washing machine which have a drum bearing which is prone to wear and tear, and ultimately is what? It is permanently molded with the wash tub, you must have seen, and has a sealed outer lap which make it very difficult to replace the entire tub. Now because the cost of repair is much higher than the value of appliances, so automatically it forces customer to scrap it and purchase a new one. So this kind of design concept in business matters a lot. Now forget about the ethics in this process. Forget about the principle in this process. Ultimately, you are doing business, and while doing business, we generally keep ethics apart. No doubts. In ethics, for reading, it's useful. But are you going to raise a question mark to such kind of companies? Why they are doing so? Because you see, people do purchase n number of toys also, because toys, it's a need, generally expected thing by the kids also. So you must have seen, even though there are costly brands of toys which are manufacturing toys, do use plastic screws and plastic gears also. Why? Because when you are going to repair it specifically, it's going to, there are chances of wear and tearing. So company purposefully trying to increase the speed of deterioration, and that is again applicable. Even there is no any term in legal or law process which can prohibit all these things. It's a smart design by the companies which create under category of plan obsolescence, which is a business design or product design or service design. And this is how companies are earning huge amount of money, because there is no prohibition till date right now towards the durability and product designing. Simply, no, certain rules are applicable there, but still, you know, companies are using inferior material for the essential part or the layouts, which can cause excessive wear and tear. Some companies are using cheap plastic and soft screws instead of metal in functional components or the load bearing components. Automatically, the speed of deterioration is increasing right now, and companies are indirectly insisting customer to replace the product, repurchase the product. Same you can check with the Apple or any other company. Same applicable to the mini. Like I'm taking example of mobile phones. Am I right? So probably products like laptop, mobile phones, or electronic toothbrushes. There are some people, those are using electronic toothbrushes also. This is a fashion right now. Generally carries lithium ion batteries, and that are not replaceable by the end users. Why so? Now, the trend of non-replaceable batteries started in the year 2000 onward. Prior to 2000, there were instruments which can change, we can, as a customer, we can change the batteries. But right now it's difficult, because that has been designed in a way that when customer tried to open at their own, there is a break or there is a seal. We can call it as a water resistant seal, or with the if you try to open it, your warranty generally become void. So this is actually planned by the companies in a systematic way. We can say the planned obsolescence in a design process. And this is how companies are connecting with customers. Generally, customer neglect all these things. They consider it as a standard platform of a company, standard operations of a company, standard offering of a company, and they do purchase the products. There are various examples I can consider. You can take example of Samsung. Probably Samsung S5 phone, which was there prior to 2015, has had an openable back cover, and the user was able to replace the battery, and those phones were also water resistant. But from 2015 onward, 2016 onward, when Samsung launched Galaxy S6 phone, it is not generally openable by the customer, because it has a sealed battery with it, and customer need to replace the phone after a specific lifespan. So all companies, those we can call as the so-called big companies, are doing effectively design aspects in this product domain or service domain, through which customer can insisted to repurchase product again and again. Same applicable to the mini product like fashionable products. Let's say example, take fashionable clothes. What fashionable clothes the big brands are offering? They are reutilizing the same product again and again and launching it with different names and different brands, and we are purchasing. Let's say example, if Nike is a very popular company in sports category, probably we also using the Nike shoes. What Nike is doing in terms of their sneaker? Nike produces sneaker and providing the same for many years, but the material, the color combination are changed every few months and offered in different markets, so that the products are perceived to be new and in trend, because in trend is a new fashion word which purchasers always consider that it's a trend. It's nothing but product remain the same, because fundamental product will always remain same, but because of the aesthetics are changed, customer are tempted to buy, and this increase the size of product. Very simply, as I talked about iPhone Galaxy S6. Same happens with the Apple range, Google phone range, just like Pixel, Pixel 3, Pixel 3a, Pixel 3 XL, Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. Whatever Google has initiated, it's nothing but planned obsolescence. There are certain things which also company plan systematically. We can call it as a programmed obsolescence. What is this program obsolescence? So companies specifically try to disable the product in a deliberated way. That's an example of inkjet printers, new inkjet printers. Probably you must have seen a smart chip is linked into the cartridge, link cartridge specifically, so that it will prevent, you must have seen, it will prevent the users from using it after a certain specific number of printouts. So therefore, cartridge is you supposed to change the cartridge, even though some kind of link is available over there. You can see the link ink also, but still you are forced to change it. You are forced to replace the cartridge. So therefore, my friends, this kind of structure is again important while you are doing for the business domains, that you understood in what domain you are going to plan it out. Some examples also I'm taking as a, some systematic examples are there. You can see the software updates. When you are utilizing a mobile phone, you're supposed to update the software probably every month or randomly as per the need of the particular software. So what is this? This is also a kind of software lockout, I can say, that if you fail to update your phone is not going to be applicable or functional over a period of time. So automatically you're supposed to update, and after a certain period of time, your phone doesn't support the new updates. Ultimately, you're supposed to purchase the mobile phone. This is applicable to the mini gadgets right now. So this is also a smart way of designing the concept, designing the business, designing the product, through which we can ask or stimulate customer to purchase more and more. Moreover, right now, government is also doing the things. You can take example of old cars, scrap. We can consider it as a legal obsolescence. Legal obsolescence can be seen very recently, probably, wherein government banned many diesel vehicles after a specific lifespan and insisting customer to purchase electric cars. So there are certain low emission zones government has declared. You must have seen in many cities probably, which is automatically banning the polluted cars, and car owners are probably forcing the people to discard the vehicle and purchase for the electric vehicle. So various aspects we can consider in this process of planned obsolescence to understand the importance of designing the concept, designing the product. No doubt, whatever examples I took specifically, these companies are quite successful because they know where to knock and what is the knocking action, making customer stimulate or create a crave in the mind of customer to purchase the new phones or purchase the new products, whatever companies are offering. So in this concept, no doubt there are benefits of this planned obsolescence. What are kind of benefits we can enjoy as an organization? Let me explain you. If you are following such kind of concepts in your business, automatically you focus more towards research and development. So there are benefits also of such things. Automatically your research and development team is working wisely, creatively, innovatively to find out the ways where you can ask customer to repurchase again and again. So that can focus more on R&D platform. Right now, there is a greater scope in R&D. Why? Because of companies, many companies are following such kind of things. You can see in any product, such kind of obsolescences are created. And this is unique way to increase the repurchasing cycle or planning for the greater sales. Companies are again focusing on saturated market. With such kind of obsolescence product, you can create a new market. So there is greater stress simply that companies are creating with the effective business planning and designing in terms with planned obsolescence. No doubt it has a negative impact also, because ultimately we are wasting the resources, energy, time also, and it can create a bad impact on environment also, because you are throwing the product, dumping the product, discarding the product, which can create a bad impact on environment also in later stage. But right now, nobody thinks on that parameter. People are considering about the business, and being a business professional, we're supposed to also understand this, how it has been connected with the conceptual framework of business knowledge. So, as I said, planned obsolescence is about all these parameters, what I discussed with all of you, that companies are following, companies are doing. And this is the, we can say, the innovative way of designing the products. Because when I'm thinking about design thinking, what design thinking basically end? Design thinking ends with results. What you are planned, how you are going to make it effectively. In my opinion, design thinking is the important part, no doubt. But outcomes matters. And companies are using such kind of creative concepts by creative thought process of product obsolescence or planned obsolescence. They are doing wonders, they are doing miracles, and these companies are known as a brand companies specifically. So why not? Ethics keep apart, principles keep apart. I'm talking about business only. So we're supposed to understand this, and that's why I said many times it's known as a conspiracy theory is applicable to such kind of planned obsolescence, whether these things are correct or not, whether things should be must be carried out by companies or not. There is always a question mark. But forget about the question mark. What we're supposed to understand is what they are doing the business, and they are doing the wonders. Simply, when you design all these things in terms of business, so there is a risk also, because it's not easy to plan it out. If your product seriously fails to connect with customer, what else? Automatically you are going to lose the business market or the existing customers, or maybe the new customers if you are planning to connect with that. So all these things carry a risk also, because it may create a bad image of your product, maybe your brand, may hamper your entire business reputation or certain things. So business person should also understand this design risk while doing for the business. Because customers are having n number of options right now. So those we can call as a business architects, business designers, domain designers, service designers, product designer should understand the design risk also. Because design risk is somehow you are going to pay in later stage once you are going to work on the concept, and that should not be the answer. So that's why being an entrepreneur, being an innovator, being a business architect, we are supposed to understand in a holistic way. I'm repeating the word holistic again and again, because that is the most important way, that at 360 degree you're supposed to know each and everything being a business person. And if you fail to understand, collaborate. That is the most important way. Collaboration with the right team, collaboration with the right person, collaboration with the right person whom can be with you to understand all this stuff. And therefore, outsourcing is the most effective way for all these things. No doubt, you're supposed to learn the concepts, but if you fail, that you're supposed to understand also. And many times we fail to understand because we carry the attitude that I know everything. And that attitude kills you in terms of your business. In business, when you're planning about the things, you should not carry that attitude that you know everything. Because for effective running of business, there is a risk associated always, and the risk you can minimize with your proper visions and proper product designs. These companies are doing wonders, no doubt. You can do also wonder if you plan effectively, if you could understand what are the problems a company can face. And therefore, why I'm using the word again and again collaborative, because right now, as I said in the previous time also, this time also, the change is constant. And generally we see there is a people avoid change. There is a, hurdles if you try to create a change in the concept, change in the product, change in the business. When you are operating a business, you can see the example of bee. Bee is basically getting somehow some material from different flowers and creating a specific product. So this is the kind of collaborative approach we're supposed to understand. In general business domain, we do follow hierarchy method. In institution also, we do follow hierarchy method. But you know in your mind how effective it is. Whether outcomes are planned according to way or we are adding value only. In the search hierarchy, we are going to follow the hierarchy and something like that. If you are planning for the effective business, don't consider hierarchy is the only way. There are another ways also, just like holarchy. Holarchy is an effective way. Right now, business people are missing. And what is important in designing the holarchy is, you can check the example of hierarchy and holarchy. Under holarchy, specifically, you can work in a team because every person is kind of, can add value in different domains, even though his designation may be different. So this collaborative approach is right now expected by companies for effective planning, effective management. So there were days when you are following about the hierarchy. In our education system, we still follow the hierarchical way. We follow the hierarchy, no doubt there is a need. I'm not against of that, but we can try to convert hierarchy to the holistic approach. Why? Because there is the outcome, and same is applicable to the business domain. When you're planning for the business, such kind of approaches are important to you so that you can plan the concept effectively. And ultimate goal of all business is what? A proper growth in the market. So therefore, my friends, when I'm talking about the creativity from new concepts to the improvements, as a human being, as a business professional, you're supposed to understand all these things and you're supposed to talk out the programs so that you can make a structure of business which can benefit the entire organization, entire business domains. Okay, here you can see the glimpses how to create, how to optimize the things considering your own knowledge. Now you as a professional is quite important because you are going to be the mentors for the people once you are going to deliver this knowledge to the any other team. So you should be aware about different conceptual frameworks, and where you are lacking, you're supposed to collaborate also. That is the most important part, because that's why I want to touch that. Once we think that we know everything, we are lacking back. So that attitude you should not carry while doing the kind of business domains and planning for the business structures. Simply, I'm adding this example as a tree. Tree basically started with its vision, value, capabilities, and resources as a root. I'm considering this example as a business. If your roots are strong, automatically it starts growing, and your trunk, the trunk जो tree का बीच का part होता है, if that is strong specifically, that depends in a business as a strategy, organization, process, and innovation. If it is extreme strong, automatically it comes with outcome, that is excellent marketing, excellent service, excellent partnering, excellent selling, and furthermore. So this is the best example in simplest way we can consider as a business. You know, each and every step, each and every aspect, each and every discipline is important in this process so that we can get more and more outcome from this business designing concept. So whenever you try to design the concept, whenever you try to designing the business, whenever you try to designing any kind of venture, remember the diagram of tree, that how trees generally grows, how what parts are basically strong, what parts make the upper part to flourish. All these things you're supposed to understand as a business leader and business designer. So simply, these are certain W's of question you can ask yourself, and if you could get the answers while designing the business growth, you are enough successful to plan it effectively. So my friends, these are simple W's. You must be knowing about all these things, and you must be understanding the importance of all these things, why it is essential for us to know each and every W while working on the business growth. I don't want to spare much time over here because this is a common theoretical aspects. You must be understanding, you must be aware about this also part while doing the business domain part. The important part when we consider is innovation as an interdependent system. Why it is interdependent? Why it is not independent? Because as I said, collaborative approaches make business strong, even though the ecosystem in which you are planning your businesses should understand the importance of each and every stage, each and every phase. And being a business innovator, being a business designer, you're supposed to create this platform very wisely. I'm not going in detailed technical way because that's required a full day workshop so that we can cover each and everything in detailed way. Because as there is a time formation, I supposed to cover it in time. That's why I'm showing the glimpses to all of you, discussing the basic fundamental knowledge with all of you, so that whenever you can plan for the future business ventures or guiding for the future business venture, at least you could remember the certain kind of things we're supposed to keep in mind while planning the things. So right now, any company or every kind of organizations are running behind the innovation, innovation, innovation. Now you must be knowing innovation stands for what. You must be knowing how to plan the innovation effectively. You must know what kind of strategies are important to execute the innovation to the grassroots or execute the innovation to the customer base. So therefore, these guidelines are very important to understand innovation as an interdependent system, and you can add value to each and every system by adding the more and more disciplines to this platform, to this design, so that you can utilize it in your effective way. Every business, as I said, is running toward the excellence. Every business want to be sustainable growth, sustainable, future career. So how it is possible for a business for effective growth if it has been not designed well, if it has been not planned well, executed well, if there is not a proper way of transforming the things, it is difficult. Because you must have seen businesses with proper flow structure can sustain, because here the approach of collaborative structure matters a lot. Approach of understanding structure matter a lot. So excellence is also possible. Excellence is also, we can plan very effectively if you could understand each and every important step at this stage, okay, how businesses are achieve excellence, how businesses are plan the growth parameters in an effective way. Therefore, your role in designing all these parts quite important. Here, I try to mention everything what a business is expected in design concept, because simple design makes you accessible, makes you understandable the way of outcomes you are expecting. So don't follow the critical design structures so that it's difficult for others to understand. Make it simple, make it accessible, make it open so that you can change it, you can add it, you can alter it without hampering the outcomes. Very simply. Right now, there is a fashion that every businesses is kind of replica of each other. So you can say Ola is a replica of Uber, Flipkart is a replica of Amazon. So it's a replica business, replica models right now. Many people, many companies are initiated with duplicacy or replica businesses. Still, you are following a replica model. How you can make a business excellence? That is the role of your designer or your business architect. So being a professional faculty members, you can also the business architect or business excellence designer in this conceptual framework if you could understand the importance of strategy and execution, because it's your understanding that can minimize the risk of a business to run effectively. And therefore, effective mindset to run all this is very important. So here I can say the business technology mindset, because right now role of technology in business domains is quite increasing. There is a transformation in the business capacity because invention of technology has created the digitization of businesses, and digitization of businesses is offering more and more benefits to the customer. Right now, a small service provider also expecting to be on digital platform. Let's say example, we are purchasing the products and we are paying through the online financial mode. Digitization, everywhere digitization is there. So role of technology in all this designing is equally important. So the business architect who are designing all this concept should understand the importance of technology, because transformation is only possible if you could understand the business digitization and transformation. So in my simple opinion, when you're saying about the technology, innovation or digitization, it is nothing but consistent design thinking. Remember this. This is consistent design thinking. Simply because you're trying to update, and that mindset you're supposed to carry when you're trying for transforming your business capabilities. Previous, you can check example, probably prior to Corona pandemic, what were the business model, and after Corona, what are the business model? There is a big transformation, and digitization plays very important role. You can check your education domain also. We are meeting virtually right now. Previously, FDP is generally offline mode. Right now, we are virtually, and we are satisfied with virtual mode also because we made our mindset. Simply, the same is applicable to designing the business models, and role of technology we should not forget in this process, because coming era is knocking about industry 4.0. Why am I repeating the same again and again? Because there is a huge radical changes are going to happen, and we supposed to be ready for this upcoming era of technology. If you could understand the digital parameters, technology parameters right now, the design thinking make us to face customers, partners, and employees in a network channelized way. It's a multi-channel world, we can say, where we are going to connect. And as you can say, invention of digital apps, mobile apps, creating the more opportunity for the business parameters, and creating the same opportunity for the, the AI, IoT, and certain things, so that it can add value to the business domains. So here, technology backbone is quite important to understand, because it carries the cost, quality, and performance. Remember this. So if your technology backbone is strong enough, automatically you can provide operational efficiency. Remember this, through reliability, security, and most important, scalability for your business. Therefore, we as a business architects, while designing the business, we're supposed to understand all these things. Now, what are the domains we consider as an important part of this? You can check. These are very important domains, because when I'm planning for the digitization of business, automatically data is a central part of attraction. How I'm utilizing all these data parameters in parts of security or certain things, that is the most important part. As a business technology domain, I supposed to understand, even though I'm not from technical background, but still I supposed to understand, because I am going to play a role of business architect, and that is applicable to you also and me also. Therefore, understanding the glimpses is very important. Simply, the four technology, the parameters, whether it is product technology, business process, and certain things, as you can see in the slide, some are overlapping and some are discrete actually. These are basically underpinned by the infrastructure and data security. Always remember this. Now, customer interface technology, if I'm talking about that part, we do offer n number of connects with the customer through media, through telecommunications, certain things. But real value, a customer can feel only if he try to use the product. Remember this, offering things virtually and offering things actually, there is a lot of difference. So this part we supposed to understand, because customers are concerned about actual value, what they are going to receive. And here we supposed to understand this while entering the business technology domain in the business. Therefore, customer interface, product technology, and operational, these are interrelated always. Business process technology itself are supporting these terms with the businesses in terms with ERP and CRM, customer relationship management, and ERP technologies, which create a model through which businesses can offer services to the customers. And therefore, my friends, these particular standards we always support to keep in mind while designing the business technology standards. Now, these standards make us aware of what we're supposed to see as the important part, what we're supposed to understand as the important concepts while designing the business. You can read it specifically, because you can read the slide. But this conceptual frameworks is basically the lower part, lower three systems are basically facing digital development questions, because minimum viable government, that is what we expect when about we're trying for the technology standards while designing the business. Because whenever we inculcate technology in businesses, it should reflect in a minimal viable governance. And that is the most important part. You can see this diagram specifically, which is basically operating model. When you plan for the businesses in an operational way, how there should be minimum interface, and you can connect the business, plan the business without minimum governance, with minimum governance, because technology makes you accessible the things, technology makes you accessible the what are the happenings are there, and there is a low requirement of personal intervention in all these parameters. So your business should support you with this concept. Remember this concept about minimum viable governance. That is the most important part. That's why we are, connecting technology with the business, so that we can connect with the customers, connect with the stakeholders, and we can govern the business very effectively, very efficiently, and we can generate the outcomes what we are basically expecting. So such kind of diagramical explanation will make you understand how basically we plan the business terms with technology interface while designing the business models, and how each and every business processes we can consider as important while connecting with technology and designing the business model. Even though you're not going to plan with the technology aspect, still without technology support, if you are planning for the businesses, try to understand the importance of each and every steps which make it possible. But as we are knocking the door of industry 4.0, we're supposed to understand this, because future is coming about technology. All kind of data is basically the weapon companies are using it right now, because it's a data market, and data market is based with the technology. So customers, companies should equally understand what is the use of technology in terms of designing the business model. So that concept we're supposed to understand, and there is a huge of business architects right now. People know about the design thinking, but when it comes to execution, they fail. Why they fail? Because they're not aware about the commercial things. If the person is technical background, simultaneous vice versa. If person is from management domain, they're not most aware about the technical aspects. If they can collaborate, if they can understand, they can be effective business architects. And there is a scarcity. So you can grab certain things in your mind so that you can guide and you can become the business architects. So this is again a creative model about understanding the capabilities of the companies, understanding designing the capabilities of the organizations, why these organizations should follow, at least should focus designing the capabilities of the organizations. Why? Because every capabilities are designed in an effective way, so that there should be a best foundation for self-assessment. Many times company forget to assess the self. They do follow certain traditional ways, just like SWOT analysis we used to carry in designing the self assessment, but that is not applicable to the business domain. Business domain should be assessed in an effective way, and that again I'm using the word holistically. This design concepts, you can see the horizontal concept, there are division of 4 disciplines. Vertical, under demand, there are total 5 disciplines, and there are total 28 related capabilities you can see in this diagram, which are connected to each other in terms of the expected outcomes. So why are we supposed to understand each and every design concept? Because those who want to become the business architects, they're supposed to understand all these glimpses, because you are going to mentor the businesses. You are going to guide the business organizations. Unless and until you should not aware about what kind of capabilities the companies are having, persons are having, it's difficult for you to assess. Companies are moving faster actually, no doubt. So we also need to the pace at what speed they are going, and depending upon that, we're supposed to understand the glimpses. We're supposed to understand the outcomes. We're supposed to understand the specific disciplines which we need to connect. Because every business, whether it is product business or service business, ends with the outcome. So it should plan with the business approaches, demand to repurchase and resale again and again. So these simple concepts comes with different domains in it together, and that together is basically assessing the capability models. Right now, again, as we talked about holarchy model in the previous time PPT specifically, you must be seen how holarchy is important specifically here. This is also we can run the hierarchy model. In previous time we used to prepare the hierarchy model in general standard way, it's just like a T diagram. But right now there is no way. There are specific models we can connect with such kind of conceptual framework. When we design about the responsibilities and role, we're supposed to understand the importance. We're supposed to understand the importance of each and every role, what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to deal with, what kind of passion these people are carrying, what kind of capacities these people are holding, and that is the most important part. So here, basically, you can see there are 5 basic blocks in black color, which represents or which identifies the required passion, required mission, and required measurements for effective business domains. So when you design about the roles and the responsibility model, equal importance should be given to the passion also. Equal importance should be given to the understanding also. Equal importance given to the dedication also. Equal importance given to the skills also, which companies are missing right now. You can see in your institution also, there are some people having excellent skill set, but not having such kind of designation or such kind of responsibility, such kind of connects, and they are wasting their brain. That's why I use the concept. It's a brain drain for such kind of people, such kind of organization, which we are missing. So being a business architect, you can start with your own company, own institution also, how we can change so that there should be a outcome oriented results. Let's say example of NAC and NBA. Whenever there is a NAC cycle or NBA accreditation process, we do create many things. Why we do create many things? If you could create a system through which you can generate the reports, it's probably the enjoyment work you are going to do while facing the NAC and NBA. Many times we have seen people do things for such kind of accreditation only. What about the outcome results? Nobody bothers about that. That killings our creativity. So when you are considering yourself as a business architect, try to utilize same thing at your organizations also, because that is a platform you can at least try the things. When in company, you're supposed to answerable for the officers through which you are going to connect. So therefore, my friends, when we are considering all these parameters, you always supposed to understand the importance of design thinking. As I'm talking about random on Industry 4.0, why it is important me to connect the Industry 4.0 in this discussion of business designs and flow? Because with the invention of Industry 4.0, things are going to change. And we supposed to ask this question, are we really ready for Industry 4.0? Because Industry 4.0 is coming with many radical innovations. Now you should understand the word radical innovations, because we discussed it earlier in our previous lecture. Industry 4.0 is coming with many disruptive models. Many industries are going to change. So what are the challenges specifically Industry 4.0 carries with us, and what answers we are going to provide to the Industry 4.0 to sustain? So there are certain challenges specifically when I'm talking about. The most important challenges generally we find is gap in technical skills. No doubt, we are making our students learn the technology, but do you think it's quite enough capable to make a pace in the Industry 4.0? If the answer is yes, you are doing the right things. If answer is wrong, change the innovative approach of yours. Become a brand architect, become a business architect, add a value to the gap you are facing or you are identifying, because this digital dexterity is killing the Industry 4.0 outcomes and we are somehow responsible for that. That's an example of data sensitivity. As I've said, it's a data market right now, and companies with data specifically are leading. So ask a simple question. Even in we know the Industry 4.0 is knocking the door, still we are resistant towards the data management. We do not believe easily because we are concerned about data and IP privacy, ownership and management. It's difficult for us to share the third-party data, even though we are planning for ERP or certain things like that, because we are not connected easily. We are not understanding the terms. That may be a problem also. Or we generally not keeping trust. No doubt, it's an important fact. I'm not saying about that, but still, you see the future. You see the what industry is changing right now and whether you should change as per the space or not. In interoperability, this is again a common disease, I can say. Industries are looking for updation with the AI, robotics, and certain parts, blockchain technology. But one question again remains same. Do they have the same connectivity with the vendors, suppliers on certain parts? Probably no. So what else we supposed to plan in Industry 4.0? It's supposed to be a collaborative nature. Whatever vendors, whatever supplier, if you are dealing with, uplift them also. Because we can be ready for Industry 4.0 so that it can add value to the country's GDP and country's economy. Nobody's thinking about that. So such kind of association matters a lot to improve the business domain. And you know about the security and handling data growth. It's a crucial part right now. Companies are focusing with different parameters under this scenario, and your role in this process is quite important, because whatever generations you are teaching right now, these generations are going to work actually in Industry 4.0 domain. So it's up to us how we can create the opportunities. No doubt there are n number of opportunities Industry 4.0 also carrying out, and we should be ready to receive that opportunities also. Being a professional business architect, I can call you, or innovator, I can call you, entrepreneur, I can call you. Sorry. So this opportunity model, or these opportunities, you can read, because later I definitely going to share the PPT so that every participant can get this out. What is important? We should be ready for this Industry 4.0, because business domains are changing, business structures are changing, business innovations are changing, innovation approaches are changing, entrepreneurial styles are changing, and we're supposed to cope up with that change as a design thinkers. Because design thinking is not about thinking for a concept only, it's about execution only. And for effective execution, holistic approach is very important. And right now, for the holistic approach, we're supposed to discuss education 4.0. Nobody talks about education 4.0, but I think it is important to discuss about education 4.0, because people talk about industry. What about education? Because what are the future leaders are coming to manage all these tasks are getting education from the professionals like us. You and me are doing the same thing. So are we creating the manpower which is ready for education 4.0? That is the most important part. And certain questions we're supposed to ask to ourselves. And that is very important, in my opinion, to keep our manpower ready for education 4.0. The question we're supposed to ask: how our existing entrepreneur education can create young generations ready for the gig economy. Because you see, traditional means of working are shifting right now. There were days where traditional means of working are accepted, but right now market is constantly changing, evolving, revolving, and revolutionizing with different concepts. And these rapid changes are very important for us to understand and ask this question: whatever we are teaching in the classroom, whether it is really applicable to the market? If it is not, then what else? Because right now, innovations and technology are basically opening international gateways to the many countries. So companies with strong foundations naturally are going to be the globalized companies, and it is happening right now. The concept of gig economy is making revolutionizing concepts in the economical structure, which we generally neglect, generally forget. We still follow the same pattern of teaching and certain things. I'm not asking about the change the structure, but at least we can aware our manpower, aware our young generations to be ready for that. Let's say example, we do have n number of clubs in our institutions. As I name about the innovation club is there, startup club is there, entrepreneurial development club is there, incubation cell is there. But what actually are we doing in value sense? That is the part. Because are we concerned about a survival or sustainable development growth in this startup culture? That is the most important part, because still also we are more concerned about knowing how and showing how. What is the most important part in teaching? When you're teaching about or explaining about the things to the manpower, rather than knowing how, showing how is what important, which we are missing right now. So that we're supposed to improve over the period of time. You're supposed to show how it can be done, rather than knowing it can be done through this way. There is no mean. And to show effectively, you should also learn first how I can show the same thing. Because giving a lecture and expecting someone else to do is a different part. You're supposed to understand, and then you're supposed to ask someone to do. So such kind of things we're supposed to have change in the education domain, my friends. And one thing I generally find out in the education domain, which we became victims actually, the change in attitude. If you ask someone, even the school going children, what you want to be, the answer is, I want to be a doctor. Someone say, I want to be an engineer. Someone say, I want to be a lawyer. Someone say, I want to be specifically designer. How many say that I want to be an entrepreneur? Probably nobody. Nobody says like this, I want to be the entrepreneur. You will get n number of answers as a doctor, lawyer, medicine, and certain things. We're supposed to change the attitude. We're supposed to create the value to the word entrepreneur. That you should answer, yes, I want to be the entrepreneur. That depends on us. So how we can add the value to these things is going to create the difference. Again, the important things which we find in generally while delivering lectures, or even the faculty members while talking to the examples of entrepreneurship. In education, let's say example, if I am talking about technical projects, so how many education institutions offer a practical learning, let's say example of engineering college, practical learning towards personal finance, mortgages, investments, loan, probably very less. Even it is applicable to the commerce education also. They teach the theoretical aspects. What about practical approach? Because college is more concerned about principal knowledge. What's about the practical approach? If they are not able to understand how they are going to do the business, how they are going to plan out the business in actual. So the practical approach should be there. And again, the word entrepreneur, we are connecting the word entrepreneur with the extremely successful people only. Whenever we take example of word entrepreneur, we take example of Bill Gates, we take example of Jeff Bezos, we take example of we can say the Mukesh Ambani, Steve Jobs. What does it mean? It means indirectly you are disfranchising young people with unattainable heights. Because how many can become Bill Gates? How many can become Mukesh Ambani? Rather, provide examples which are small examples so that there should be a curiosity how I can add value. So whenever things should be there, try to inculcate this part which we need to improve. Because in reality, entrepreneurship career is highly achievable, and that we must teach and support to our students with our own collaborations and our own guidance. So therefore, to achieve all these things, we should be solution I have provided over here. We're supposed to inculcate such kind of multidisciplinary education in our domain. Even though you are bounded with syllabus by university, still you can add a value so that we can create the manpower which we can lead. And when generally we are talking about the businesses, we talk always on innovation. अलग बनाओ, अलग बनाओ. अरे अलग क्यों बनाना है? Ask students to make something creative, something simple. हम क्यों नहीं बोलते कि टूथपेस्ट का जो ऊपर का ढक्कन होता है उसको क्यों नहीं क्रिएटिव बना सकते हैं हम लोग, सो दैट अच्छा लगे. हुक्स जो होते हैं यूज करते हैं हम लोग, उसको क्यों नहीं अच्छा बना सकते हैं हम लोग. कोई सिंपल चीज है उसको क्यों नहीं क्रिएटिव बना सकते हैं हम लोग. सिंपल स्टेप्स. सो start with simple steps so that there should be a curiosity in the mind of people, curiosity in the mind of students, curiosity in the mind of learners, so that they can create a value. try to motivate them with your steps and try to understand the glimpses of business designing, entrepreneurship, innovation, creativity, so that you can discuss with these people so that we can expect the outcome in terms of country's development, my friends. And that is what basically I supposed to discuss with you. And with this, these are certain concepts we can, which are very simple concepts which we can add, and we can know work. We can ask students to work very simply. These are very simple concepts. We can ask. This will add a creativity in the mind of students, that they should think for the creative things. And if they start thinking on creative, definitely they are going to be done. So here I am going to conclude my lectures with all of you, because it's always 1:05, and specifically we I can conclude with business domains and certain things. So over to the organizers towards any kind of question if participants are supposed to ask, because it's already 1:05, and since morning 9:30 we are connecting, we are discussing the important part of innovation, entrepreneurship, and business domains. So over to the organizer, Dr. Shabnam. Dr. Shabnam.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm a participant. I'm participant from Gujarat. Your lecture was excellent, sir. I was listening you. I have one question, sir. I'm a faculty over here in a mechanical engineering department, and few universities are having norms like a faculty member cannot do other things apart from their job. So, and if a faculty member or a person who is working with some government sector or somewhere else, they want to do some entrepreneurial, they want to start their business, some kind of business. So, can you guide us, sir? What being a faculty we can do?
Yeah, definitely. See, we can connect with the friend or relative. You can be the, we can say the stakeholder, one of the stakeholder, and you can start the venture, because you are providing your knowledge sector. No doubt, business should be not in your name or in your relative's name or any family member's name, but at least you can initiate with the concept with your students also. Later, you can take a stake as an investor also, because you can invest in any business, na? And that investment may be intellectual investment or maybe financial investment. So that is applicable, I think, opinion, because you are adding value to the country. That is the most important part. You can share the same thing to the officers which are preventing you to do certain things. Because if government itself is promoting that there should be more stress on innovation, startups, and the things, if faculty members are doing the things, automatically it's going to work. So through there are direct, indirect ways you can connect and you can add to the value of nation.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for spending valuable time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We hope to be associated in future with you, sir. Sir, just a request to share the PPT. It has been requested by most of our participants.
Definitely. I'll share the PPT.
Sure, sir.
I'll mail you the PPT. You can share it later to the other participants also.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants for attending this session. We'll take a break now and we'll continue at 1:45 we'll be starting with the next session. So we'll meet at 1:45. Thank you for attending. Please fill the feedback form